You know what to do.
I do. Greetings, fellow Hapsters, and welcome, replay viewers, and welcome to our story time. Haps of the West this week, or this month.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. It's a little bit warm.
Wrong accent. Woo!
It's been a bit of a scorcher here, folks.
Wish the AC in this place was better. So you can see we're not outside in the tent. Various reasons. Number one, it's threatening to rain again. That could be why the humidity in the air has increased.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the humidity in the air has increased, and this is a lot of leather.
Yep.
We're not even wearing our shoes or socks or anything.
But we are wearing pants.
Well, you're wearing pants.
Well, I'm wearing pants. You're wearing a nice skirt there.
Nice skirt.
Showing off your kneecaps there. That's a bit scandalous.
I should still have like a rose or something on that.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to do that. You know.
That's right, yeah.
Hello, Jedi Senshi.
Hey, Jedi Senshi, how are you?
And hello, Elena. Hi again. First story time for you. It's the first time you joined us for story time?
Awesome.
Yay.
Well, I reckon this one's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe next month if we can get everyone assigned earlier, we can memorize a little bit.
Actually, memorize our script?
Yeah, or at least half of it.
So we don't have to have like cheat sheets in front of us?
Just no more bearing our faces, okay?
That's right, yeah.
Nice and open to our audience.
It's like a reading series.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Do you want to move the iPad over there, maybe?
Yeah, actually, here. Let me rearrange a few things.
Easier.
So we can monitor some commentary.
So fun. Yay! So the first few minutes is basically just this, settling things in, telling people how it works. And then we run the intro for story time and then go into character.
There we go.
The primary reason, of course, is to give you guys a few minutes to get here.
Mm-hmm.
And don't overheat, drink plenty of water. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, and bourbon. And water.
Whiskey.
Whiskey? Yeah.
It's whiskey. Woo! I swear
it's downright windy is what it is.
Wish it was windier.
Yeah, these are stories that we wrote.
When someone does a $7 or above sponsorship, it used to be $5, but we've upped it to $7 so we can be able to afford to mail out prizes. Mm-hmm. And if you do that as a sponsorship every month, then we include you in the story time. So you'll see in the introductions. Hi, James. You'll see in the invites and stuff for this one are all the people who are sponsorships or have, like James did one day, flooded us with $20 worth of awards. So he's going to
write them in.
Yeah, you're going to be in the next 2 or 3, James.
I think so. Yeah.
You have no choice now.
Wow. That's my Wild West. I need that little sort of handlebar mustache.
We should wait until November to do the Wild West.
I know. Yeah. Really. Yeah.
Well, we didn't expect this. Whatever it is.
This kind of heat wave we're getting. Yeah.
Yeah.
This humidity.
So, and this is a lot of extra hair on me.
Hey, Katrina.
Hi, Katrina.
Shirt on is optional. Yeah, well, I chose to go with the shirt after all. It looks better with the bolo tie and everything else. So. Yeah.
Now, what I'm wearing under here, you guys don't have to know. Because, we're not that kind of broadcast. But yes, these are very warm. But they're right. And thank God I'm not wearing my gloves. I don't even know where they are.
Oh, yeah.
The
calfskin?
The big,
the
black ones that usually wear when you're shooting a Winchester because you don't want powder on your coat.
It's not that early in the day. Yeah, really.
Yeah, really.
But so far, my computer froze and had to reboot. Reboot.
Vince left that remark much earlier. So we'll see how long it takes him to come back. Mm-hmm. But he left earlier in the day. So he's not here yet. He usually says something when he is.
Might be, it's a Sunday. I don't know if he's working today or not. No, actually, he has the weekend off because now he's got 2 weeks vacation or something. I seem to remember him hosting.
Keep track.
I don't know. Programs, get your programs. You can't tell who's on when or where without your programs.
Without your programs, that's right. That's right. Did you print them out, Bill? The programs.
Oh, I reckon I forgot to. That wasn't my job.
So you didn't put your contact lenses in.
No, I didn't.
So
I didn't
hopefully
say.
that's okay to read without your glasses.
Without my. Oh heck no!
Oh,
Oh no!
you gotta start putting in your contact lenses. You gotta
More
get used to
often.
it.
Yeah, definitely want
Yeah, I mean, we bought them. We should use them.
to. Mm-hmm.
You know that? Yeah. Okay. So like, eat what you buy. Okay. Why is my mic having a hard problem?
He's on birthday vacay. Yeah, please don't pass out.
Well,
So this is more like a play.
Kind of.
It's a story time. We're telling a story to you guys, and the characters are based on the people who have contributed either the sponsorships or the awards over the course of the month. So.
yeah, Elena, he's not used to contacts and he hasn't tried to use. But it took me
Mm,
2.5 years to get him to wear glasses because he was like,
that's true.
I don't need them. Yes, you do.
My eyes are just tired. I'll be fine. Yeah, no.
No. So yeah, Mr. Stubborn
Mm-hmm.
has not learned how to put contact lenses in. He's tried a few times. It got difficult. He gave up. Typical male.
Typical male. Oh.
Uh,
Uh.
I might fall asleep. No, don't fall asleep. On
Don't
us.
fall asleep, Elena.
All right. So at the end, we are going to ask trivia questions.
Mm-hmm.
The answers are in the story. And then we are going to keep track as to who gave awards during the story, any amount, right down from the 10 cents up to, I think, $10 is the largest one.
Yep.
And if you give awards during the story, we put you in for a draw.
Mm-hmm.
And based on who answers at least one of the
The
questions.
correct answers, yeah.
Yeah, at least one of the correct answers, at least one. And then I will get your address if you win.
Mm-hmm.
And I will mail you off your prize. If we get a lot of people during this, then I will divide it down to first, second, third. And if we only get a small amount of people taking part in the trivia, then the whole thing will be a prize.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you guys.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Usually put people to sleep. I hope not. Don't fall asleep. Okay. So how many people do we have in here? 137 it says. We are almost 10 minutes in. So we're almost at that point.
Yeah.
And if I hold on to my gun, I'm not going to be able to do anything else.
I know. Yeah.
We made the shot tighter this time, which unfortunately means the Winchester doesn't fit in the shot. So I'm going to put it right down here. Is it staying? I can't breathe.
Exactly. So pay attention. Yes, everyone pay attention during the story. There will be a pop quiz at the end.
It's not a pop quiz if you tell them it's coming.
Oh. Oops.
It's only a pop quiz if you suddenly do it. They knew it was coming.
I know. Yeah, I know.
So we may need some help too, because our devices under monitoring is kind of off to the side and awkward. Mm-hmm. So if people can keep track of who's putting awards in, mm-hmm. that would help greatly.
Yep.
So another reason to stay awake. Mm-hmm. So are we all ready?
We're ready, yes. The title of the story time is Happs of the West. Just because, you know. Hello, David from Amarillo. How are you? Dang, I thought I was done with schooling. Well, no one's ever done learning.
Life is all about learning.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn to live with laugh.
Mm-hmm. And life learns to live with us.
You have problems, Bill.
I got problems. Oh, boy.
See if I can keep the accent. My throat is
mm-hmm.
in a bit of a state. A little dehydrated.
Yeah, humors are a bit off there.
A lot of things are a bit off about me, honey.
Apparently, so.
You knew that from the beginning.
Yeah.
My mic keeps cutting in and out. So I'm going to see if I can move it up on my lapel. because it might be my hair kind of insulating.
It could be, yeah.
There's a lot of extra hair.
Yep.
Can you show
99
me-
problems.
can you
That's
show
right.
this? Put it back there.
Oh, that's it for your hat.
Yeah, it's a little hat thingy.
Your little clincher thing, cincher thingy for your hat. There you go. There we go. Okay. You ready?
Doing this without shoes feels
I
so
know, yeah.
incomplete, but it's
Or we feel like
so
it should
much
be
cooler.
sitting on a bridge, dangling our feet over the water or something.
Oh,
A little dock,
sounds so
fishing
good.
pole.
So good.
No AC or fan? Both.
Both,
Both are running.
but we
Yeah.
think that the landlord hasn't cleaned out the system in a while. There's a possibility that like the filter in the furnace, which is downstairs furnace or the AC unit or whatever, hasn't been changed in ages, or because the system is not pumping the AC
Not a
through
lot of
as well.
airflow coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I get a strange feeling. Like we've been doing without the AC as long as we can each day,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to run it only in the evening. Trying. So,
Ready?
ready?
Mhm.
Well,
That's getting itchy already.
it's been in storage.
Hey, Lisa.
No, you haven't missed anything yet. Hello from Mississauga.
Have we talked to the landlord? Yeah, a couple of times about it.
Oh yeah, but it's a typical.
He'll get around to it.
Yeah. He never does. He has a life we don't, apparently.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm gonna turn that off. What was I about to look at? I don't remember. Are we ready?
Yep. You ready?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, I think I did Happs. Hashtag Happs. All right. Yes, I did.
Happs art? Yep.
And by the way, Pablo and Peter, thank you. That's very convenient for this.
Yeah,
Very convenient for this.
because storytelling is an art form.
Storytelling is an art form. So, and now the story. Yes, so Martin and I are going to disappear. And
We'll be right back.
Bill and Annie will be back. We won't be back. Bill and
Bill
Annie,
and Annie
will
will
be
be
back.
back.
Just keep crashing hats, don't we?
Well, it could be pirate hats too. That'll be next month.
All right.
I still taste last night's bourbon. Problem is, I didn't have any bourbon last night.
Are you sure?
Incarnation. What the heck?
Well, howdy, folks. Nice of you to join us on this glorious evening.
It is nice. These great people are here for us. And I'm multitasking again, Bill.
You're multitasking.
I
again?
don't
Yeah,
know
well,
where my
well,
brain
you
is
don't know
most
where
of the
your
time.
brain is, yeah. Well,
Nope,
well.
I don't. It's a pleasure to have them all here,
It
though.
is, oh, yep.
We're humbled by your presence, but we don't have a show for them.
Yeah, this is true. We're rightly enough prepared for your company on our next tour. Don't start for a little while now.
Since we do have them here, though, it would be downright rude to not at least tell them a story.
Or two, we have had a lot of adventures together.
Well, why don't we share parts of our tour from 1883? And that should put some fire in their shot.
Oh, better than a good shot of bourbon would.
Bill, I am talking about bourbon. Well, why don't we start with Madison, Wisconsin? That pair of sharpshooters you put me up against were an interesting pair.
They were at that.
I think you should tell the story. After all, you hired them.
I did. This is very true. So we pulled into Madison on a Tuesday, and while we were setting up the camp, these two gentlemen approached me with a challenge. One of the lads called himself Tall Happs, since he hailed and says he hailed from California. He had darker skin, probably from the California sun. He was bright and energetic. The other lad, a tallish, fair-skinned ranch hand from Colorado, called himself Short Chaps. Not sure why, as he was taller than the other, but I had no desire to ask. They claimed they were the best sharpshooters in Wisconsin, having worked together for the past year. They offered to challenge Miss Oakley here in a friendly sharpshooting competition. Not to pass up an opportunity for a hype, I signed them on.
Excuse me a moment, Bill. It seems that my musical accompaniment is there. That's what I wanted.
That sounds a little more like Wild West, yeah.
Now back on track.
You shush about them smartphones.
I would have appreciated being asked first. It ain't right to set me up so sudden like, but I have always been confident that I'm the best anywhere. So I suppose I forgive you. I wasn't the least bit worried.
And you shouldn't be. Always have your back. We drew up a contract that included their pay rate, less if they lose to Miss Oakley, more if they win.
You knew they'd lose, or you wouldn't have offered such a hefty amount if they won.
That's right. Once signed, we set about promoting to the locals. It would be our headline event of the show. Folks flooded in from all around the county to see Annie Oakley in action against two local sharpshooters. You could cut the air with a knife that day as the anticipation built in the crowd. Little Miss Shoreshot was up first and thrilled folks with her fast shooting. She could put all 6 bullets through a playing card thrown in the air before it hit the ground.
I learned that shooting squirrels on the farm so we could eat, because we did have to eat squirrels. I first did that at the age of 8 with Daddy's Winchester.
That you did. Next up were the boys, who take turns throwing clay pigeons in the air while the others shot them down. They shot down 6 each as the crowd cheered.
I thought that a little unfair since there's 2 of them and only 1 of little old me.
True, but 'tweren't playing cards. Them clay pigeons are just too easy to hit. They make a terrible sound when they shatter.
True. I hit those playing cards dead center.
Annie's next trick was one of Sitting Bull's favorites. 12 whiskey bottles were lined up on the fence. Miss Oakley, with her trusty Winchester, expertly blew the corks off each and every one of them, and not a bottle was broken. I should know, I personally inspected each bottle after the show that night.
And we made sure that every bottle was empty when that show was done.
Now, come on, Miss Oakley. Did you think I'd leave you out of the final inspection?
Grateful you included Frank. We made sure you didn't have to endure that task all on your own. You would never wake up the next morning if you had.
Sure enough. So next, the boys tried to suggest a blind shot challenge. They had the idea that they could string 2 cans together and one of them could tell the other how to shoot a target blind from behind a stack of hay bales. But it was too inaccurate, and the instruction in Tall Happs couldn't clearly guide Short Chaps to the target. He darn well shot the top off the flagpole.
And I strode right up center stage. We took my trusty mirror and performed my famous over-the-shoulder shot. I showed them up pretty good.
And won the competition. That's why you're such a showstopper.
You did pay them their fair wage for the attempts, but whatever happened to them?
I heard they'd gone north to just outside of Brantford in Canada. There's a gentleman by the name of Bell who's developing something he's calling the telephone. It's to be the next wave of communication.
Oh, sure sounds like they could add to developing a way to talk to someone clear across the country and faster than riding there. Well, that is as long as no one hands them another gun.
Yeah. Then we moved on to Aberdeen, South Dakota, where we met 2 talented and lively ladies.
The horse wrangler and her friend with the whip skills.
That's right. Shortstop and Whiplash Sue. They were this down-and-out act that just couldn't catch a break.
They've been rejected all over the country. And even the rider's horse done run away.
Yeah. They asked to audition for the Wild West show. Shortstop with his tiny thing that couldn't exactly show me what she could do without her horse, that is. So, reluctantly, I loaned them my own. Sue was this tall, broad woman who could make that whip sing. She rivaled the talents of Calamity Jane herself. Being the bigger of the two, it was nothing for her to hoist Shortstop up on her shoulders so she could mount the horse. My old steed wasn't too keen on this and kept sidestepping to get out of the way. Took a while, but he eventually settled down and let them do their thing. Shortstop was a natural and could guide a horse while standing on its back, but as soon as Sue started cracking, he bucked and threw the little lady clear across the ring. I decided right there and then that they needed to figure out a different show.
I must apologize. I thought the little miss rolled well with the tosses and should have considered a stunt clown act instead. But they had done that show 100 times with Shortstop's horse, and they had never had any problems with that horse.
Now, don't you go dissing my horse. I always say that horses and whips just don't get along. Spooks them too much so close by.
Now, Bill, are you admitting that she's a better horse trainer than you? Or are you calling that little missy a liar?
I would never do neither. I just simply am aware of the limited time we have in either location and I have to make the hard decisions.
It was nice to offer Whiplash Sue a job with the show, and rightly so that she could choose to stay with her partner.
I thanked them for their time and sent them on their way. I did give them a little stipend for their time and wished them well for replacing their horse and finding a new one.
Funny you mention that. I'd heard the Shortstop's horse came back about a week after we shipped out. Maybe we can give him another try next time we're in South Dakota.
Maybe.
Amy? Bill, how about Fargo, North Dakota? Now, that was quite the romance. I wouldn't say it rivaled Frank and I, but it sure did make us rethink about how many different kinds of love stories there are out in the world out there.
Yeah. At first, when I met him, I never thought Bobo the rodeo clown and Ronnie the bearded lady would hitch up. The two of them had been touring with us for a few months, and it wasn't really noticeable. It was kind of like some kind of fairy tale.
Yep. And when we performing, they never left each other's side. After the show, they disappeared for long walks together or back to their tent. But we never really saw them out of their show attire.
Our wardrobe is our show attire. They have a much more unique look.
That they do. Yet every morning they would arrive for breakfast, fully dressed and ready for the show. And always insisted they not be disturbed when they were in their tent. I even offered, on many an occasion, to help out with things like stitching or props, but they just kept turning me down.
Always found that a bit strange, but it's their life and crowds loved them, so I just let them be.
They would do anything for that audience.
They sure did. Bobo would prance about in those enormous feet and huge spectacles, while Ronnie worked the crowd for cheers and catcalls. It wasn't until one day in Fargo when Chief Sitting Bull invited the local Chippewa elder to come see the show. Their secret life was revealed. Sitting Bull especially wanted the Chippewa elder to meet Miss Oakley.
Meeting him was a joy. He introduced himself respectfully in English, of course, and as sees the truth. After the show, he expressed his appreciation for the day's excitement.
Yep.
He especially liked the hairy man dressed as a woman and his wife, the rodeo clown. I looked at him quite confused.
I remember you responding like a mule, reluctant to move ahead. Sticking your nose out toward that carrot, you asked, "You mean the bearded lady and her husband?"
Bill? You?
Now, don't take it personally. Your nose was forward and your head cocked to one side.
Well, all right. Well, he responded politer than you just described me as. He said, I thought you knew. It's as clear as the rising sun. I thought the two of them, and I looked to the two of them and repeated what he had said to me. They just burst out laughing at the thought that no one ever figured it out. I had never felt so lost as I had in that moment.
Well, wasn't that just the funniest thing? I reckon deep down inside we all had our suspicions, but why fuss over things like that? Bobo and Ronnie are among the kindest, warmest people I've ever met, and the crowds always love their act. They're still with the show to this very day.
And the crowd still love them.
That's right. And speaking of crowds loving what we do, our looks are downright important.
True. We have our signature looks and reputation to uphold. Why, if we didn't have our looks, we would never get invited to places like how about England and to perform for the Queen, or travel north for those fine folks in Canada.
The Queen, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't think of that. Maybe I should look into that one. Taking the show to Canada might be a nice side trip down memory lane. How about we bring the show north next year?
Oh, that sounds mighty fine. It would be a joy to see some of your family's properties and get the chance to meet them.
Hmm,
Wasn't your father Isaac Cody born in a place called Mississauga?
that's right. I was born in Iowa, but was baptized in Mississauga, Canada. Much of my family stayed in Mississauga and had roots in the church there. I was born after half my family moved to Iowa. But Mississauga isn't a large place to set up a show. We should try for York.
York. Well, I would like that very much.
But for now, we're still in the US of A, and this next story brings us to Sioux City, Iowa, and my efforts to keep my fine image intact.
It was there that you decided you'd been shaven in your tent too many times and needed a finer job done on your striking look. I suggested you go to the local barber.
It was a small shop in the middle of town, and the feller was named Cutter Jones. We didn't realize until after we got there that he was also the local surgeon, and the Cutter moniker was a double meaning.
That's right. Who would have thought that cutter may refer to something other than a shave and a haircut?
He was a slender, lanky man with a kind smile. I honestly thought he was no more than an honest barber.
Go on. Tell your story, you old goat.
Goat.
You called me a mule.
Revenge is truly sweet, ain't it?
Mm.
There was this other feller in his shop, a tall man in a black stovepipe hat and a tailcoat. He introduced himself as Mordecai Chanter and shook our hands very awkwardly.
Talking to the folk outside the shop, it turned out he was a local undertaker and spent a lot of his spare time around Cutter's shop waiting for business.
Oh, man.
If one of
yeah.
Cutter's patients didn't make it, he wanted to be right there to make sure things were taken care of in a timely manner.
Now, I did not know that as I followed Cutter into the back room.
Well, you know that now.
I figured it out right quick. In the back, where he had his barber chair set up, there was right next to the operating table. It wasn't a large shop, so the front room was only big enough for a handful of waiting chairs. Miss Oakley waited out front of the shop.
Mr. Chanter did join me. It was the most uncomfortable time. He kept asking me my opinions on death and afterlife, and whether it was better to be buried with pants or without pants. I honestly could not answer most of his questions as I had no idea what he was talking about. I figured he was expecting me to misfire the show and had a Benton pool set up. Right about then, there was a loud crash from the back room, and Bill hollering like a banshee.
I did holler, "What are you trying to do, kill me?" I swore he was.
With that, Mr. Chanter perked up and jumped to his feet. It was the fastest I'd seen him move since we got there. I realized right there and then that Bill might be in trouble, and that this man had been talking to was truly the undertaker. I ran after him and into that back room, and I found Bill sitting on the floor with the barber chair and pieces next to him. Turns out the bolts had worn out, and Cutter was a better barber surgeon than he was a handyman.
I had just settled into the chair and relaxed under a hot towel when the chair creaked and collapsed under me.
It ain't like falling off a horse.
Mm-mm.
So I helped him up, and the undertaker sighed in disappointment. He was really hoping for some business, but Bill just didn't get to dine that day.
And it's a good thing, too. We still had 2 shows to do. You know, I never did get that shave, but I saw Mr. Chanter in the audience that evening, eagerly watching the show. Guess he was still looking for some business.
I still think he had started a betting pool and was hoping you and I would wind up being in the center of a mishap.
That might explain why Mr. Cutter was found roaming our encampment offering haircuts and shaves.
Good price, too. Only 2 bits. But once everyone heard the story of your near call, no one took him up on that offer.
Well, I know a story where there'd be no problems with the cost of a shave and a haircut.
And which story would that be?
We were doing a show near Marshalltown, Iowa, at the ranch of a friend of mine from back in the Pony Express days.
A friend and a friend and a friend. So we should take a peek because we're halfway through. There we go.
We got some nice awards here going on and a few great comments.
Nice. Thank you all.
Hello, Knowledge. How are you doing? Oh my God, good thing I wasn't drinking anything. I don't even know when that comment came through, but I'm glad to hear that we're amusing somebody out there. All right.
You do keep your friends fairly close, don't you?
I do.
You know, you are supposed to keep your enemies closer, right?
I never rightly understood that one, but that's neither here nor there. If it wasn't for those friendships, we would not have a show, Annie.
And for that, both Frank and I are truly grateful.
Now, if I may,
All right.
the landowner, Silas Hapstone, was kind enough to charge us the family rate for the use of his land. We'd set up camp in the big tent and made Mr. Hapstone our special VIP guest.
That would be the most visible seat in the house. After all, it's still common to this day to place those you wish to be seen as being at your show in a very visible position. That's why many of the balconies in theaters are not the best view for the show, but are the best view to the audience.
That's right. During Annie's trick shooting act, a crusty old varmint came running through the tent, dodging stage hands and hired help. He scampered right through the middle of Annie's shooting range at risk of life and limb. If she hadn't glimpsed him in her mirror, he'd have been shot for sure.
I watched as he stormed right up to Mr. Hapstone, screaming and rambling on about some gold missing from his stream. Well, the show must go on, so we did what we could to calm things down.
I stepped out of my role as the showman host and offered to help them out by bringing the two to my private tent to talk. They agreed, so I left Annie with the show.
Not my ideal post, as Bill is much louder than I am, and the big showman, much like the size of his ego. I just cannot compare.
I went with them to the tent and learned what was going on. The prospector, whose name was Dusty Nuggets.
No word of a lie. It simply runs in his family.
You see, he'd been panning for gold in the stream that day for days when the local sheriff came by and charged him with trespassing on Mr. Hapstone's land. He was thrown in the hoosecow for a couple of days.
Now, the hoosecow is a jail for you fine folk out there who we assume has never been in one.
Well, we can certainly hope that, yeah. When he got out and went back to the stream, there's no more gold to be found. It seems Mr. Hapstone claimed the stream was on his property, so he sent his men down to pan for all the gold while Dusty was behind bars. Turns out there was about $4.7 million worth of gold in that there stream. Well, Dusty was livid, but Silas was in his rights to his claims to the gold. I was so intrigued by Dusty's persona that I came up with an idea that would help all of us. I offered Dusty a job with the show. We could really use a crazy old coot. He'd get a regular bed, regular meals, and a weekly stipend. In exchange for me taking Dusty off of Silas's hands, I got him to agree to let us set up for free on his other ranches in the next 3 stops on our tour. I think it was a win for everyone.
And that's right. Silas keeps his gold. Dusty keeps the job. And we get a whole new act in the show. He's still with us too. Twice a day he comes out with his gold pan dancing a jig. The crowds throw him coins that he picks up and puts in a pan. And every night he offers us the money as thanks for giving him a home and family. And every night we let him keep it. I'm sorry. Your turn.
And I've been told that Hapstone is considering allotting some of those funds to assist in supporting performers and speakers. We've even been asked to include some scientific stuff in one of our future shows, lining it up with a World's Fair.
World's Fair. That's exciting. And I guess we can be grateful for that sheriff that kicked Dusty off that land, or we wouldn't have him to this day.
That's right. Speaking of sheriffs. Hang on one sec here.
Thank you, Norma.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good to hear from you. Speaking of sheriffs, it was a rainy day when we pulled into Mason City, Iowa for a 3-day stint. The weather being what it was, we needed all hands to unpack and set up the tents before the fairgrounds got too muddy. At least with the tents up, the ground would be protected a bit from the rain.
The local sheriff, Deadeye, came around to see if we needed any help. He said he could rustle up a few locals if we needed them. We were mighty grateful for the assistance.
He ran off to find some willing hands and hurried back. It wasn't until he and these fine folk began working alongside our crew that something happened we did not expect. The sheriff took one look at our dog handler, Chris Shepard, and flew into a tizzy.
He done near burst a blood vessel as he nearly stormed over us to get to him.
I had to step in between to make sure nothing got nasty. The sheriff told me that he'd had dealings with Mr. Shepard a couple of years back in Medicine Bow, Wyoming. It seems he had trained the sheriff's hound dog, but it wasn't exactly as the sheriff had ordered him to do so.
You see, having a bit of a mischievous side, Shepard trained a little quirk into that hound dog. Every time the sheriff raided someone still, he'd use the hound to sniff him out. But the dog would break into the hooch and drink as much as his belly could handle before passing out drunk on the ground.
Sheriff would have to load the dog into his paddy wagon, pulled by his horse Armageddon, and haul it back to the jail to sleep it off. He tried 6 ways from Sunday to get that dog to stop, but it just loved moonshine way too much.
When Shepard saw the sheriff coming at him and being the kind of trickster we've gotten to know, immediately tucked away his own jug, which he carried on a leather strap, and stepped between the sheriff and one of our show dogs. The dog was busy lapping up some of the finest sour mash this side of the Mississippi. He claimed he had no idea what the sheriff was talking about. Round about this time, Bill lets out this over-the-top laugh.
Of course I did. Well, don't you know? All of our show dogs are quick to drink. It's no wonder the sheriff's dog is that way too.
Oops.
Do I fix that?
Yes, I'd
I
appreciate
reckon I'm
it.
going to fix that.
It's not the dog's fault this time.
There we go. The son's been a little quick to the liquor too. All righty.
All right?
Yeah.
Are we good now?
Yeah.
Where was I?
It's no wonder the sheriff's dog is that way too.
Shepard shuffled his feet and finally admitted that he was having too much fun messing with the sheriff. And he started to make it a regular thing to train the dogs to take a liking to liquor.
We should watch our own supplies more closely, ain't that right?
Mm-hmm. That's very right. Did you know he'd even created a miniature still that he could pack up in a suitcase when we hit the road, so he could make the hooch wherever we went? It kept the dogs happy and just loopy enough to perform.
I had to think fast so the sheriff wouldn't take away my best dog handler. So I offered to buy the sheriff's dog if he'd forget about the whole deal. Sheriff Deadeye agreed, and I hear the handy sum I gave him for the hound dog got him a couple of basset pups that he's training himself.
As for Shepard, well, he's still with us, and the new dog's the star of the show.
Now, we try to keep our drinking confined to our tents or at a saloon. Like in St. Louis, Missouri. They do say Missouri loves company, don't they?
Bill, that's Misery Loves Company.
Well, when it came to that saloon, it was Missouri loves company. We were doing a couple of shows down in St. Louis, and one night a bunch of us, being camp weary, decided to patronize one of the local saloons. We took a table near the stage and rated ourselves to be entertained.
It was a pleasure to have someone else center stage while we sat and relaxed.
True, but we weren't sure if it was supposed to be entertainment. The pair on stage had little to offer. They were introduced as Miss Lily Rose, chanteuse extraordinaire, and Lorena Gowan, the pianist.
Excuse me?
You heard me. But you know,
We're not that kind of broadcast. It's fun doing that in that accent.
It was. It certainly is.
It was painful to endure. It looked like they were trying, but the spark just wasn't there. Kind of like someone's laugh. Miss Rose had no life in her singing and dancing, and Miss Gowan kept tripping over her own fingers.
Our own showgirl, Chrysanthemum, took it upon herself to take the stage and get the fire going under these two.
As soon as she started singing, Miss Rose took to joining in, and a smile crossed her face. The two played off each other, and even Miss Gowan began playing better. Turns out all they needed was a little push.
After their set, we invited the ladies to come join us at our table. They thanked us for helping them get their groove back.
As the night wore on, they told us their story. They were sisters from upstate New York. They've been touring the eastern states for a couple of years now. Lorena had trained at the Royal Conservatory up in York and was quite an accomplished pianist. Sadly, she lost her husband and a few months ago, and her playing hasn't been the same since. I offered my condolences on the death of her husband, but she said no, he's not dead. I just lost him.
Lily's story wasn't much happier. She had learned to sing from a French lady in New York City. A near brush with death last month had rattled her so bad she couldn't find her voice. Till tonight. This gave Chrysanthemum an opportunity to propose an idea. She confessed that ever since her fiancé lost his fingers, she'd been wanting to leave the show. And St. Louis seemed like the perfect place to settle down. She'd always heard that Missouri loves company, and never knew what it meant. I didn't have the heart to tell her.
Neither did I.
You see, her fiancé was none other than our own pianist, Freddie. The incident in question happened a few weeks before, when Annie's husband, Frank, fell ill.
It seems he ate something that was kicking up a storm in his belly, and he was not setting foot outside of the tree until it had its way with him.
We needed a stand-in for their act, so we asked Freddie to step in. All he had to do was hold the playing card and let Annie do the rest. Well, he'll never play the piano again.
Now, see here. That was not my fault. We had no rehearsal time, and all I needed for him to do was just stand there and hold still. He shouldn't have moved. But I wasn't so quick. It could have been a lot worse. I could have hit his 12 inches.
He's 12 inches.
Yeah, his 12 inches. He kept bragging that he was a 12-inch pianist. I never knew what he was on about. But since I hit his fingers, he still has his 12 inches.
12 inches?
12
You
inches.
know,
We're not that kind of broadcast.
Well, with our best showgirl leaving, it seemed only reasonable that I offer Miss Rose a spot in our company. Since tonight's experience rekindled her voice, we could really use a new singer. She agreed, provided we take on her sister as well. Since Freddie lost his fingers, he was going to stay with Chrysanthemum in St. Louis, so we took on both sisters with a handshake and a shot of whiskey.
Freddie's biggest worry was that he'd never play the piano again. And that's when Bill showed him. He walked up to the saloon's piano and opened the front.
I'd seen from my seat that it wasn't any ordinary piano. I flipped the switch and it began playing. It was a player piano. Neither pianist had to play. Lorena looked it over, mouth agape. Oh, well, if I'd have known that, but I'm just a girl, she smirked, pointing fun at herself. Freddie sat down and began playing while Chrysanthemum leaned against the piano and sang her little heart out.
That night we traded 2 for 2 and said farewell to a couple of good friends. I hear they do 2 shows nightly in St. Louis. Lily Rose and Lorena Gowan tour with us and play like they'd never played before. Lorena's husband never showed up, but I'm sure he's out there somewhere.
Like a lost puppy, I assume he'll find his way back to her at some time.
Yes. I suppose it's time to say farewell to these fine folks. We seem to have told all the stories we have. I hear that Christina and Martin have some trivia and a prize
That they do, yeah.
to do, so we should thank our supporters for the contribution and allowing them to include them in our stories.
I'm totally agreeing with you, Annie. Farewell, good people. Stay well and remain safe. The world is a tough place out there.
I do remember a wildlife can be the beginning of a show or the end of one. Either way, it is all in how you see it. Now, don't you go anywhere.
Stand by.
Isn't this a beautiful little bed?
Sure is.
Good for my rifle.
Well, wasn't that a lot of fun? Try and do it without the accent now.
I know. I just want to do it too.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. So that was a shorter one than the last one, but you guys were saying that they were too long, and we had 16 people this time to include.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katrina. And thank you, Elena, for the awards as well. Everyone that gave us awards on this broadcast.
Ellen, super clap. Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Let's see what else. Cool. Thank you, James.
Well,
If you guys like them shorter like that, we can do that. LOL award.
LOL award.
Smile, smile.
The Golden Squirrel Award.
Golden Squirrel. Martin doesn't squirrel sounds fun to me. Got talent, and there goes my gun.
Oh, you're Winchester.
Got talent.
Got talent award.
High five.
High five. High five.
Creative genius up here.
Creative genius.
Yeah, it's all up here. I'm not sure what else is up there, but
and another high five award.
Woohoo! Another high five. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a few minutes if you haven't gotten an award in yet. So, do you guys like them shorter? Because the last one was super, super long. It was like literally 2 hours, and then it was another hour for us to do everything else. This one was about half an hour, so it's quite the opposite end. But if you like them shorter, Martin and I can obviously write shorter. We didn't think we could, but this one definitely. It was easy with the Wild West because you just like you're loud and you're fast.
Exactly.
And
There's a lot of energy behind it, right? You know, with the doing the whole showman thing, right?
And another reason I like it short is because we're really sweating it. Yeah, it's pretty hot. And these
even
leathers
with the
are
AC
not.
And fans going and.
Our AC sucks. So
yeah, anyone that missed any part of it can definitely catch it on replay. But we have some award givers here.
Okay, so what I want to do is Norma, honey, I see you're watching on Facebook. Come on over to Happs.
Come join us.
So you can be part of this on this level, and you can type in Happs HAPPS.TV / the @ and then CAR CARR.
Hunger HUNGER.
Come on over and join us over here, and you'll see what the awards and everything are.
Comments, yeah.
If you check it each day, Happs is still at a point where they're giving people coins for checking in and things like that, and little challenges and stuff. And Norma, it would be great to have you over here, honey. You know, I do miss you and your child and all the animals. Yeah, all the furry animals. Yes, and you'll be able to see everyone's compliments too. You'll see on replay. Well, here's it. Those of you who missed it, you're going to have to probably research some of this information unless you actually know it. We have 7 people who gave awards. So Katrina, Joel, Lisa, Helen, and Elaine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
7 awards, 5 people?
7 awards, 5 people.
All right.
Okay, Elena. You guys get to answer trivia questions. And we'll let you answer on your, I would have given something. I had to clean my computer out. Dust and cat hair doesn't come up the works.
Does come up the works. Oh, no.
Well, you've given a lot in the past. I'm more than happy to let you take part in this. You've given a lot in the past, honey. And you've treated us to dinner a number of times.
Yep.
So I'm gonna let you be part of the trivia. Yay! But I suck at trivia, that's okay. I'm going to lose. You're not going to lose.
You're not going to lose.
You're not going to lose. There's no such thing as losing. Okay? Because it still becomes a random draw. Okay? Yeah. Yes. And she didn't know. Jedi Sunshine, take part. Take part. Go ahead. Vince should be here. He's not.
Also missed some of the story.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. The trivia only pertains to stuff in the story that you guys can find on the net. You know, or might already know.
Yeah.
Okay? So we have 5 trivia questions for those of you who contribute awards. Anyone who still wants to contribute an award, by all means, go ahead now. That's okay. That's okay. I know we were having a lot of technical. I think it's the heat and the humidity is having its way with these. It's having its way with these mics. Okay, really easy. What is Annie's husband name? Question 1. Question 2, how young was Annie when she started shooting squirrels for food? Question 3, Where was Buffalo Bill's father born? 4, what is the name of the indigenous leader who supported their show? And 5, when they refer to York in Canada, what city are they referring to? So we'll give you guys some time. We'll sit and chat.
right.
Good time to ask questions of us.
So Elaine is answering a whole bunch here.
Hey guys, stop talking about sucking. You guys are people and capable of typing in research, and I'm going to give you some time. It could. So Jedi Senshi, please feel free. Take part. Well, she mentions her husband's name multiple times.
Yep.
And that's really easy internet search. That one definitely is really easy. How young was Annie when she started shooting squirrels for food? A hint, same age I was when I started in the entertainment industry. So if you keep track of that on my other broadcasts, whenever I've been alone.
Because she's mentioned that before as well. Yeah.
How young I was when I got into.
Katie's going to pass because she won last time.
Oh, but honey, then we've got maybe 2 people here. Guys, don't be so hard on yourself. Go for it. Frank Butler, that's right. So Lisa got
All
one.
right.
Frank Butler
Excellent.
is Annie's husband.
Yep.
Actually, we should shush up and let them just
Let them answer, and then we'll scroll through and
see how many rights and wrongs there are.
Yep. Yep.
Toronto used to be called York.
Shush.
Okay, we're going to shush. We're going to shush. We're shush. Pile them on. You can answer them all, and that's fine. No, Elena.
Elena. Oh, no.
No, Elena. Guys. Okay, so Helen and Lisa are making a good effort. It's hard to stay quiet. I liked the shorter story. It was easier to read.
I think that story came in at just a little over half an hour, right? Because we were at about 45 minutes when we finished the story.
Next time, maybe we should wait 20 minutes before we start. Give people more of a chance to come in.
Do a little prelude kind of stuff.
Hello, darling. Hello, darling.
Everybody do the Michigan rag.
Okay, I'm going to let people just answer. I'm going to try to stay quiet. Well, pull your pistol out.
Oh, not this one. Oh, yeah. Hold on.
We're not that kind of broadcast. I think the hardest thing with the Wild West accent is it's kind of like a combination of an English accent and French accent, and there's a lot of influences in it. Can I have my Winchester, please? I can't reach it. It fell.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there you go.
There we go. These things are heavy. So let's first of all, we don't encourage people going out and using guns just because.
That's right.
We're in Canada, so it's a very different set of laws when it comes to weapons. But these are our stage replicas. They are very accurate in weight and feel.
They're not real guns, but they certainly feel like it.
So we have to treat them like real guns. But this one takes caps. Do you have one of the bullets with you?
Oh, no, I didn't actually grab one of the bullets.
But it loads like a real gun. It's a beautiful. What's the company again? Go get the box.
I'll go get the box. I'll be right back.
I start calling you names.
You call me an old goat again, aren't you?
Yep. So keep going, guys. So the questions are, what is Annie's husband's name? How young was Annie when she started shooting squirrels for food? Where was Buffalo Bill's father born? What is the name of the indigenous leader who supported their show? When they refer to York in Canada, what city are they referring to? So these guys are
it's a company
amazing.
Called Colzer, Spain, made in Spain.
No, we had to order these through an American distributor through a Canadian company in order to get them over the border because they're accurate. But these bullets are beautiful.
Yeah. Single action, fast draw, Army 45.
So you put the cap on the end.
It's the rear chamber loading style.
It just slides in.
Like that.
Now we've been thinking of one day investing in a similar, Winchester.
And to eject the
but this
spent
one,
ones, you just push on this little lever here, and out they go. Where that went? Where the heck did it go?
so this one unfortunately
Oh, I see.
doesn't seem to have a spot to actually put in a cap
Okay.
or effects. So we've been thinking of modifying it or one day investing, because basically what we have to do, or what we did do when we did shows, is we'd have the second one of these, because we have two of these, kind of like hidden and fire at the same time as I fire, so we get the sound, but no one sees that it wasn't this weapon that fired. I love the effects caps because they do create some smoke. There's no smoke
nice
out the
and
end.
loud,
Yeah, nice and loud. There's no smoke out of the end, but it definitely has a beautiful feel and
got a good weight. Actual wooden handle. That's actual wooden stock.
yeah. These are beautifully manufactured. This company is something I suggest to anyone who's doing stage shows.
Helen says it just slides in, huh? I thought it wasn't that kind of broadcast. Yeah, and you can slide in up to 6 of them. All right.
Is anyone else going to do awards? I would appreciate it that anyone who's shying just go ahead and answer, because we're going to do a random. Going to give it another minute or two. And yeah, again, folks, we always, whenever we do stuff with kids, especially, we always make it clear to them that guns were used in these characters' world in competition for skill.
Yeah.
And to catch food.
It was a tool, not a weapon. Right?
So we really push that whenever especially when the kids are around. Super hard.
Oh yeah, stiff. Out. Leather. Sweet. Buckskin. Yeah. All right.
Woo! Ah, I'm not doing it
more
3
super
times.
words. 3 times. Times 3.
Because this gun will go down if I try
Need
to.
a defibrillator if we have to do that all 3 times.
I love this site. Because it's got the distances on it.
The distance compensation.
Yep. So you can aim better. All right. Are we good?
Lisa
Enough
says
people
she's
have,
out of coins. Lisa contributed, didn't she?
Yeah, Lisa's fine.
Yeah.
Show off.
Looks like cleaning up the computer seems to be working so far. Yay!
Yay!
Awesome. Yeah, something about not blocking the airflow, right? Letting the CPU stay cool.
Yeah, I wonder where my gloves are. My powder gloves. Because that's what when you see especially a little later in her career when she started wearing leather and a little more comfortable to her look, you'll see she wears large black gloves, and you notice all the fringe doesn't go all the way to the cuff, and that's why the black gloves go over top, and it protects your cuff from any black powder that might, spray on your cuffs, and it protects your hands from any black powder that might spray on your hands. So, but I chose I don't know where they went. They're somewhere, and B, they're really expensive.
Oh, Helen's on the ball tonight.
Helen is. Yeah.
Cat hair gets everywhere,
nice.
Eh?
Yeah.
And Katrina should win the trivia by default just for all those awards. What we're going to do is we'll see how many right answers everyone has, and then we'll we'll draw from a hat, I guess.
Yep. Well,
Draw from a box.
so do you want to start counting right answers and we'll
Alrighty.
watch to see
Let's
if
take a
more
look
come
here.
up?
Let's take a look here.
Just count them. Don't worry about reading them. We'll read the answers before we do the draw.
Okay, so there's our first answer. So Elena gets 1, 2, 2, right? Lisa gets 1.
I just wanted to get rid of my coins. You got a whole month to build them up again. The next story time will be Pirate.
3,
And
4.
you've got until the end of this month to sponsor at a minimum of $7 a month to be written
4.
into the story. And we right now have about 13 sponsors. And Mark, Pablo, and Peter are always added. So they're the extra 3. So we had 16 this time. And so that's what you do is you sponsor at $7 a month. At the end of the month, we post up on our ID the character types for each story time. And at the end of the month, we do the next story time. And then we start accumulating for the month after. We have not picked October theme yet. We're thinking of doing Spanish and doing it pre-Halloween so that we're free to do whatever we want to do on Halloween itself. And do like the Monarch and the Travel of Souls. The Monarch's carrying the souls down to Mexico. And let you guys who are sponsoring over September for October story time, let you guys give us names of people who have passed away. And we'll call it Remember Me. So we'd like to do that for October.
All right.
Yes.
So Lisa got 4 answers.
Lisa got 4 answers. So Lisa, you're number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Remember that.
Yep. Hang on. Katrina got 2 answers.
So you're 5 and 6, Katrina.
Before she left, Elena got 2 answers correct.
So Lorena's 7 and 8.
And Helen got 1 answer.
So Helen's 9.
Okay.
Oh, there's Elena.
So
Do you want to go through it again, Martin?
Okay.
1 to 4 is
1 to 4 is Lisa. She got 4 answers correct.
okay.
5 and 6 is Katrina. She got 2 answers correct.
Okay.
Elena is 7 and 8. She got 2 answers correct. And number 9 is Helen with 1 answer correct.
Okay, so I need to fold up 9 little papers. 1.
So basically,
2.
you get 1 entry in the draw for each correct answer you get.
3.
That keeps it fair.
4. Well, do you want to give them the answers while I do this?
All right. So the answers to the questions. Annie's husband name was in fact, Frank Butler. She was not married to Buffalo Bill. She met Frank about 10 years before joining the Buffalo Bill show in a shooting competition. And Frank
She beat his ass.
She beat his ass, and Frank took a liking to her. And the two of them toured a lot on their own, and then were discovered by Buffalo Bill and joined the show. How young was Annie when she started shooting squirrels for food? She was 8 years old when she started hunting and trapping.
My hair's going everywhere.
Yeah. Where was Buffalo Bill's father born? Yes, in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, just outside of Toronto. Which was at the time, well, that's the last question, right? What's the name of the Indigenous leader who supported their show? Was Chief Sitting Bull. And Chief Sitting Bull actually only toured with them for a couple of years.
That's right.
So, and he was basically the leader of the big Indian ride as the Rough Riders come in and everything else. So, And when they refer to York in Canada, what city are they referring to? Good old Toronto.
And they did come to Toronto a year after the year that we decided to set the story in.
Yep.
And they did go to England only a few years after. And a little while after that, they were invited to take part in which World Fair again?
Chicago World's Fair.
Chicago World Fair.
Yeah, they toured England and Europe because they were in France, they were in Germany, they were in I think they toured in Spain as well. So they took the Wild West show all over continental Europe and the UK. So
Bill did stop shooting after a while. He lost most of his eyesight. He got to a point where he couldn't shoot, and he wound up in his older years as well with a case of the shakes, as they called it.
Yeah.
In other words, there was so much nerve damage, probably from over drinking.
What was that bit of the Blazing Saddles? Look at that. Steady as a rock. Yeah, but I shoot with his hand.
Bill did continue to ride, though. And he still had some tricks that he could do. But he had stopped shooting about halfway through his career as the host and the organizer of the Buffalo Bill Show, Wild West Show. So here's a question, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got 9 in here. It's not bad. So the question becomes, do we divide the prize into 3 and do a first, second, and third? Or do you guys want to go for one person gets everything? And that's this little box, right? And any Oakley pin based on her famous star pin that she always wore in her hat. We've got a small dream weaver with feathers and metal. And we have 3 patches. 3 patches. So first place could be box and a patch. Second place could be the Annie pin and a patch. And third place could be the dream catcher and a patch. So what do you guys think? Do we go for 3? It
first,
does
second,
mean
third.
because
I'm hearing first, second, third.
Okay.
Make it fair. Divide it up.
Well, what this means though is if we pulled 2 numbers, for example, there was 4 right answers for one person. So we pull 1 and 3, they technically get 2 prizes. Are we cool with that? Or do you want me to make sure 3 different people?
Elena wants the dream catcher. Doesn't matter how it's divided. Elena wants the dream catcher.
Yes, and the thing is too, Annie Oakley, she was from Ohio. So when you think about it, she shouldn't have that southern accent. Ohio has a very different accent for the time. But as a character, as a modern, character, everyone does the stereotypical Wild West southern accent. I did practice for one of the shows that we were doing that was educational. I did practice an Ohio accent. I don't think I can remember how I did it.
Oh, yeah.
That would take some serious practicing. It's just easy to do the Wild West stereotype.
Oh, heck yeah.
Go ahead, divide. Okay.
Okay.
So
Great divide.
Great divide. So if I pull, or you pull, or whatever, if one of us pulls 2 numbers that are one person, we keep going.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
So we break down the prizes.
Yep.
Good?
Yep.
Okay.
Everyone remember your numbers, right? Fingers crossed. All right.
You can do so?
This is third prize?
First
prize.
Oh, third. Yeah, we'll do
we go third
first.
prize. Yeah. Third, second, first, right?
Now, if they want to trade with each other when it's all said and done, that's fine.
Well, that's true. Yep. All right. So just a double check here. Lisa gets 1 through 4 because she got 4 answers right. Katrina gets 5 and 6. Elena gets 7 and 8. And Helen gets number 9.
Yep.
Number 9.
Number nine. You got a good memory,
right.
on you.
Okay. That's fair.
That's
All
the
right.
numbers he does. Yep.
So the number we draw is, that's a number 1.
It's number 1.
So it would be Lisa.
So Lisa gets, what was it? It was the dream
catcher.
And we'll give him the bull. We'll give her the bull.
Give her the bull. We're giving her the bull. All right. Next, for second prize. This one. as number 6. So that would be Katrina.
Katrina. So we'll do the cowboy and the any pin.
Any pin. There we go. And now. Oh, they
First
can't
place,
draw
which
while
is
I'm
this
doing that,
box, and the horse.
right? And the horse
patch. Don't worry, these patches have little holes to make it really easy for you guys to sew things on.
All right. Me, please.
Where are we
Elena.
sending? Where are we sending
All right,
first place?
All right. Okay.
Where are we sending first place?
Oh, number 2.
Nope, we can't do that.
Have to redraw.
Redraw.
So where it starts getting a little bit tighter, right? Number 8.
Which is
Elena.
Elena. Woo!
Hey. Hey,
Helen?
Cam. Golden Squirrel Award.
Nice. Helen, if you send me your address as well, I'd like to send you like a Happs magnet for taking part.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to send you a Happs magnet.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. So does anyone want to trade or are we
Elena
all
wants
happy
a
with what
dream
we got?
catcher. She'll trade with Lisa.
Oh, Lisa, do you want to trade?
Gets a bit tighter, innuendos all over the shop.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Lisa, do you want to trade? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Elena, first place is the box and the horse patch. And Lisa got the dream catcher and the bull patch.
The steer patch.
It's bull.
Katrina wants to keep her pin. Okay.
Okay. So does Elena and Lisa want to trade? Okay, Katrina's happy with her pin.
Mm-hmm.
So what you guys are going to do is you're going to
Lisa
send.
says, sure.
Sure. Okay, trade the numbers.
Trade the numbers. Trade the numbers.
Woohoo!
There we go.
So what I want you folks to do is to send an email to Lisa. I know where she is.
Wahaha.
I can see her in person. So this is our general email address. So please, 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 including you, Helen, because you took part, I'd like to send you something anyway. So if you guys could send us a mailing address for each of you, and we will stick things in the mail ASAP for you. And Lisa, I'm going to hold on to your stuff. So why don't you put the box over there on the makeup table?
All right. Actually, I'll put it right here.
And there we go. And then those two we can pack up nice and safe. And
yep.
Yeah, she already said yes.
Yep.
There you go. Yay!
Yep, it's all good.
Thank you, folks. So, does Sunday work better for you guys? And is this time spot good for you guys? I noticed we didn't see Dawn.
We didn't see Dawn. We didn't see Red Eye.
So they're going to have to watch.
We didn't see Chris Vegan. We didn't see Eric Happs.
No.
And not Pablo or Peter.
No.
Or Mark.
But we weren't really seeing. Well, we saw Pablo every once in a while when we were doing it on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So we're still experimenting here.
Yep.
Give her the box for Dreamcatcher, and I'll take Pin. No, she's Pin is going to. Earlier would be better.
The pin is going to Katrina.
Yeah, Pin is going to Katrina.
So Elena, you'll get the Dreamcatcher and the patch, and Lisa will get the box and the other patch.
Yes. Can't really do it earlier because it's too difficult. You can do it later, but not earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, make sure you send me mailing addresses to that email address, please. Okay, Elena, that's great.
All right.
So we can probably bump it to 7:30 because we've been doing other stuff at 7:30.
Yeah.
And that puts 4:30 back west.
Mm-hmm.
And Helen, you're ready tomorrow morning, aren't you?
It's right now. What is it? It's 1:15 for you, isn't it, Helen?
You gorgeous night owl.
Can I just say?
Can't I just say yes?
What would you like to see? What would you like to see?
Yes, Lisa. We will not forget it.
I think the costumes are fucking awesome. Thank you.
Well, next month is Pirate. So get your $7 sponsorships in.
That's right.
Those of you who are already sponsors and staying sponsors, you don't have to think about it. You're automatically in. And again, we'll have trivia. But at the end of this month is where we cut that off. So midnight our time, the last day of this month.
Yep. It's Tuesday night,
Yes.
I believe. Yep.
And again, the next one will be the last day of that month.
Mm-hmm.
So I think October we're going to do Spanish. We're going to pull up the monarchs.
Mm-hmm.
And this time what we're going to do is we're going to ask anyone who sponsors us during September for the October story time. We're going to ask you for the name of someone who's passed.
I like that. Yeah. Do a
Because
Dia de los Muertos. Thing.
exactly. Exactly. Do a remember me. Is that a wig or you're a natural? You look gorgeous. Thank you. It's a wig, and it hasn't been tended to in a while. But my hair
Kind of half and half, isn't it? Yeah.
was darker, so you can see my hair underneath. It's lighter now because I went with a gentler product. So my hair's somewhere under here. Here it is. So the wig is the color. It's a really dark brown. It looks black on camera, unfortunately. But so I took my own hair underneath, so it disappears. Some sneaky nod to Adam Ant with the pirate questions. Hey, Helen, hit that sponsorship and I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
We'll bump into him on another ship or something.
Yeah. I love that.
I mean, what we do is we put up the character types. But if you get a special request and you're one of our sponsors,
yeah,
if we can weave it in, we'll do it. I mean, we're
Will
talking
the translator
about
have English subtitles for those that don't know Spanish? Oh, we won't be doing it in Spanish.
Oh no.
I might throw a little Spanish in here and there, but no, we're not going to do the story in Spanish. We don't speak Spanish. I mean, I speak un poquito Spanish, but
thank you, Desser. Husband,
but
have a good
not
night.
enough.
Feed my
to
husband.
actually get
I have this image of her husband like curled up on the floor, and she's just like throwing
Feeding
food at
it,
him. Yeah, just throwing food at him.
Have a great night, Lena.
Yes, yes. So I'm hoping the weather is better. Because the pirate costumes are just as overheating as these are.
Well,
And I've got a little
heavy frock
camisole.
coats and
I've got a little camisole underneath here. Normally, historically, it would be a full blouse and not a snappy front coat. But
I'll email you after I give him dinner. Okay.
okay, I still can't get that image in my head of her husband just throwing food to him. You know.
Actually, he's locked in a room in the basement with a little slot under the door. Yeah. Because we don't know about Elena.
No, that's right. We don't know about Elena. This is
Hot and
risky.
muggy lately. Yeah. Hot and muggy as.
Woo! Well, this coat was a lucky find. The version I had been doing with her was a vest look thing. And it was a little cooler,
Thank
but
you,
at the
Lena.
same time, it didn't have the same impact.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a piece of cardboard in here. And I
Here.
stumbled on this coat in a secondhand store while looking for a better skirt, because the skirt I had made for the outfit was not appropriate. You know, didn't look anything like any of her skirts, but it was quickly done. And I just wanted to. We had a gig coming up in like 2 days, and I didn't want to sit and stitch, so we went out to a horse.
Like a Western tack shop kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a lot of clothing, like they had spats, they had spurs, they had a lot of stuff, and these skirts were on a good price. And they had a secondhand rack, and this coat was on a secondhand rack. And I looked at Martin and said, okay, it's $150 coat jacket, you know, and it's a lot better than what I have.
Mm-hmm.
And she started dressing like this a little later in her career. And I'm much more mature visually. So I'm obviously not able to do the 15-year-old version of her. So can I? And he said, as long as I go cheap on the skirt. So I found this on the discount rack too. And went cheaper on the skirt than I originally planned. So he let me buy the coat. They let me buy the jacket, which makes me very happy because my gloves go with it wherever my gloves are. So yeah, but I've got a little camisole underneath because this is.
It's a little cooler than the
Ooh.
full blouse underneath. Yeah. Okay, go
And this
shower,
one-
change, and relax.
This
At some point, yeah.
Martin's, we put all the decoration on it, which was interesting to try
All
to
the
stitch
beadwork and stuff. Yeah.
on the leather was a challenge, but it's too short. But it was donated to us, so we're either going to find a way to add to the sleeve. He's very careful as to how he holds his
Yeah.
arm so it doesn't show.
I hunch my shoulders
But,
a lot in this to keep the arms up a bit. We did find another buckskin.
little
Another
longer.
the sleeves are a little bit longer, so we're thinking of transferring a lot of the beadwork and everything onto the new one.
Yeah. This is actually, I think it's a woman's, but it doesn't have the tailoring this one does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we replaced the buttons because they were ugly, kind of 1970s. With these
Yeah.
little almost wagon wheels that we found in a dress shop.
Yep.
So yeah, they're not summer in Toronto weather wardrobe.
Do you still have my address from the time I ordered from your store?
Send it to me again, please.
Yeah, just send it again. I'm sure we could look it up on the store, but just send it again so we have it fresh.
You say LOL. Incapable of feeding himself. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay. I know I never take off a layer on camera. I'm not going to take it completely off. I'm just going to open the front. So to do that,
Scandalous.
this little clip has to undo
All right, let's get this guy off.
because it's under my collar. Woo! See, now I have this little camisole that I use for any historical outfits.
Sweet.
Any historical based outfits where I've got like a coat or a jacket or something where it doesn't matter if the sleeves show. I got this little camisole that's it's got this great lacing on it that I love. The waist is wrong on
Needs some
this.
stripper music.
Everything's
So
the waist is super wrong.
Bum, bum, bum.
This is the man whose jacket is already open to show
Yeah, but
his
my waistcoat.
fine waistcoat. Just
I
fine,
could show off my backless shirt.
which is historical.
It's just It's this shirt actually buttons in the back, and it's I think there aren't any buttonholes all the way down the back. There's just one at the bottom and one at the top. So it leaves the back open for ventilation, right?
But that's correct for the time period.
Yeah, we got this shirt from the vintage shop.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Not the kind of broadcast, that's right.
Yeah. Historical or hysterical? Yeah, really.
Yes.
That's so hysterical.
This waistband is so 80s here. Can you hold on
It
to
is
my...
actually, isn't it? Yeah. That sort of wide stitched elastic.
Feels better. Don't argue with a woman with a gun.
Yeah, really. And he's got a gun. And he's got a gun.
Keep the era. That's right.
The Wild West's come undone. You need to do that. You need to do Moulin Rouge style to keep with the era. This is true, yeah. But we had when we were doing the Wild West show stuff in BC, we had a couple of the girls on the cast. We're doing the showgirl thing, you know, with the skirts and
The layers.
all the layers and everything, you know.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And corsets and the feathered headdresses and
Yeah. I remember all that. I miss them.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much fun. We had a great team back in BC.
We did, yeah.
We would have a good team again, but COVID.
COVID.
We were only
Yep.
back a few months before COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
That first lockdown just changed our plans immeasurably.
Yeah, this is true.
So I'm thinking that the story time was a little too short. But I like the shorter than last time. So we're going to get it perfect eventually here.
We are.
So everyone, we're going to head off so we can actually get layers off. Wow. I'm not even wearing my boots. I think it's the first time I've ever worn this outfit without my boots.
I know, yeah. Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, I feel like you should be sitting on the end of a dock with a fishing pole, just dangling our feet in the water and
Not lying.
looking for catfish.
See? No footwear.
Oh, scandalous. Showing her ankles.
By this point, I don't think it mattered.
No, that's the truth.
That's Renaissance, not Victorian. Well, I guess.
Not the Wild West,
Yeah. A lot of those images were still around in England to a certain degree.
Yeah.
We're starting to die out already.
Yeah. On the frontier, it's
Do that need to do. Have a good night. Thank you, Katrina.
Good night, Katrina.
So, Helen, thank you for joining us. Katrina, thank you for joining us. Lisa, all the rest of you. Katie, I see. I see. So we need this mirror to be for all you Canadians. I see Billy and Bobby and Susie and such a weird little country.
Open feet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's not happening. Show me your feet.
Oh my God, how many people
Open bobs.
Stop talking about my father that way. He's Ash. I can't open him. He's locked up in this thingy and I'm not opening him. All the ash will blow everywhere. I used to actually do that fake cry.
Oh,
it's great.
She turned on the waterworks for those trolls.
Why are you talking about my father that way? Daddy!
Wow.
I know. I kind of miss those days.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when people say Bob's your uncle. No, he's my father. And Aunt Fanny, well, I didn't have any aunts.
No. Not that you were aware of.
Not that I'm aware of, no. Yeah. So, Katrina's still hitting the hello from Phoenix. Nice. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We'll perfect the next one again. Remember, just the next few days, just till Tuesday, midnight our time, midnight Eastern. Mm-hmm. We'll check on the first, and who's ever in our sponsorship list on the first is part of the pirate one. And it'll be nice to get back in charity because there's so many pirate gigs that were canceled over the last 2 years.
Oh, no, yeah.
Just Charity's just sitting there in the closet where it's like she used to be my regular character, like all the time.
15 years.
Longer. 2004.
Okay. Yeah. So
she wasn't named.
Years. She wasn't named at that time, but yeah.
So yeah.
Well, it says whenever they say show Bobs, that produce pictures of famous Bobs: Bob Hope, Bob Geldof, Bob Marley, etc., etc.
Nice.
I think you're hilarious too.
You're awesome. I really like you a lot. You're our kind of people, and I want to keep you. So you're not allowed to disappear, okay?
That didn't sound creepy at all. Did you get the package I sent you?
Was it still ticking?
Sweet questions. Thanks, Jazzy.
Thanks, Jazzy. A little warm.
Yeah, it's that time, isn't it?
Yes. Reactivate mine. Nice. I think I'm hilarious. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah. And I love your accent. Mm-hmm. I really do. And you got the same kind of humor, sense of humor as I do. That whole dry, just like, yeah, whatever.
A little dark, a little perverted. Yeah.
And watching you attempt karaoke has been awesome. I'm not going to. Just not going to. All right, folks. Go ahead, watch the replay, especially if you're in the story. Sorry you weren't here during the story. We tag this as Happs Art because that is this week's Happs Challenge. And a story time is an art form. And I'm hoping to see us on the Broadcast of the Week broadcast. And have a fantastic night. to get me. Not everyone does. LOL. Yeah. If you ever come over to Canada, you're hanging with us, girl. You have no choice. Was that
We'll
creepier?
go pubbing in Toronto. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go pubbing in Toronto. Yes. Yes. Peace, guys. Thank you, Jazzy. Yes. Good night, Helen. Yes. All right, everyone. Respect yourself more than anyone else can, and everything will be just fine. Self-respect, self-love. Gotta have it first. Okay. Just it's gotta come first. First. And hey, Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Say, see you later, Martin.
See you later, Martin.
It could have been a little Wild Westy.
See you later, Martin.
That's better. I like that.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Woo! All right. Can I hang till I'm in? Yes. Yes. You just send us email. Just send us email because Martin and I, being away in BC for a while and coming back and all the COVID stuff, and a lot of our longtime friends are actually not really communicating much with us because we changed apparently. Well, yeah, what do you expect 18 years in another province? So we're looking to kind of restart our life, and that means some new friends and trying to find some of the old friends and see whether or not they've changed too. And, the next year or two is going to be social experimentation for Martin and I.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Night, Jelly Senji. Well, okay. You're welcome. Now we're saying goodbye.
All right.
She's like, you're still on. Go away. You feel the love.
We just can't say bye.
Say goodbye again.
Keep the time.
We had a great time in Montreal. Montreal was all hardwood floors. Right? Go on, camera. I'd like to. That's my favorite thing. That's why I No. Well, look up there. So how much styrofoam?
Way too much styrofoam. The birds are confused. It's like, what's this city doing here?
What was hanging?